All right, we are back with our college and NFL recap show. We are with the man from the First Team Second String podcast, done many podcasts with him before, actually. He has a victory lap. Michigan is in the college football playoff, Big Ten champion. It's Dylan Wilkerson. You can follow him at Wilkerson A. Dillon. Dylan, take your victory lap.
We're the best team in the nation. After Georgia lost Saturday, I think it was very apparent. I'm still, honestly, the win against Ohio State 2 weeks ago holds more weight with me than this win that we had against Iowa, because the Iowa game, it was kind of a snooze fest. It was like, we go up a certain amount. Iowa just can't keep up with us.
Are you thinking about postponing your wedding just so you can afford to go to the playoff game?
It's a good question. Luckily, the wedding is next year, New Year's Eve. But if things keep on this track, we might have the same predicament. So
just think about this, guys. Like, also Grant's with us right now if you're just listening. Grant and Dylan are with us. But just think about this. What if you guys actually do fire Jim Harbaugh?
They're off the table now. That guy has a contract for the rest of his life. I don't care how many 0-12 seasons he has. I know the people of Michigan, and I know this fan base. Once he beat Ohio State last week, he's set. And I joke about going 0-12, but the fact of the matter is he's been there for 5 or 6 years. He dropped the comment about Ryan Day, about being born on third base and thinking you hit a triple. He did this himself, and he is I think a very good recruiter. This only helps him. And the fact that he publicly stated that he's donating his bonus money, I think that's just going to go to show the recruits that this is a place that the head coach believes in. So you should believe in it too. I don't think Harbaugh is going to go anywhere now. He silenced all of the haters, which no one should have been hating in the first place. But if they were, it's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, let's talk about this. College football playoff is set. The early matchups are Bama versus Cincy and Georgia versus Michigan. Let's talk about Bama-Cincy first. Bama's a 14-point favorite against Cincy, or 13.5, whatever line you're saying. Grant, what do you think about the game?
I'm just surprised you weren't, you gave Dylan his victory lap on Michigan, going to the CFP, but no victory lap for the Cougs going to the Independence.
Yeah, we go to the Boca Raton, the 2020 roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl last year, winners, man. And now we're in the Shreveport Independence Bowl. It doesn't get much better than this. I think the famous Idaho Potatoes Bowl is next, and I really wish the Little Caesars Pizza Bowl was back so we could get into that one somehow.
Like I'm honestly surprised it's not getting as much, publicity as, Michigan making the CFP. No, I'm kidding.
Also, I would be doing this podcast a disservice if I did not talk about the rigged game of the Hawaii Bowl a couple years ago.
It's true. That was like the most.
That field goal literally went in.
That did too. But the touchdown, Zach Wilson was in the end zone. He was literally in. We digress, though. I was shout out Blake. Joking,
we talked about it today. Yeah. If we ever meet Zach Wilson, that's all we're bringing up is the rigged 2019 Hawaii Bowl game.
100%. But no, man, honestly, that Michigan win was super impressive in the Big Ten championship. It's just been a team on a tear, right? Like once they beat Ohio State, it felt like that was like the final thing that they had to get done to kind of get the monkey off the back. And so so congrats on your team, man. Mad props to Michigan, and I'm sure we'll talk about the line here in the future. But yeah, dude, this is gonna be a fun game, to be honest, with Bama and Cincy. Cincy showed us what they can do against a quote unquote top tier SEC team last year against Georgia, where I honestly believe had better clock management happen in that game, they would have won that game. Their clock management down the stretch was awful, just ridiculous. Play action plays when they didn't need it, weird stopping the clock on incompletions down that stretch against Georgia. And the always the thing that SEC fans say is they didn't want to be there because they weren't in the CFP, right? That's the thing. If they lose a game, they didn't want to be there type thing. So there's going to be no excuse here with this Cincinnati and Alabama game. Now, giving Nick Saban as much time as he has to prepare for the Cincy team does not bode well for Cincy at all. That's what makes me very nervous. Is you give Nick Saban extra time to prepare for your team, it normally does not go well for you. So I'm really nervous in that aspect. And I don't know if they're going to be able to stop that offense, just like Georgia wasn't. You're right. I don't know if Cincy's going to be able to stop it with extra preparation. That's what freaks me out about that game.
Absolutely. We saw with Georgia, if you do not have, I don't know how Alabama loses. Like I really don't see it. Do you like Cincy, Dylan?
At first glance, I like Cincinnati, but both of these teams, the case that I was making for Alabama this past week against Georgia, like, they played ugly. They played some close games. They had that disgusting game against Auburn. I was making the case that like Georgia hasn't beaten anybody. But now I'm kind of going back to the whole Alabama thing where they haven't really shown us, other than this Georgia game, that they can take control of a game. So part of me thinks that Alabama is still kind of a fraud. And I really do think Cincinnati is a fraud, but they have the group of 5 on their shoulders. I think if Cincinnati loses this game, gets blown out of this game, we won't see another group of 5 team in the college football playoff for years to come if it stays 4 teams. Just because they lost to Georgia last year or 2 years ago, and they have this opportunity now. They have the opportunity. If they blow it, I think the committee remembers this for a long time. So at first glance, I think Cincinnati with the 14. I would have to look at their team stats and stuff, but I mean, it's a Nick Saban coach team, and it's as simple as that. And it's really hard to doubt a Nick Saban coach team.
Yeah, I mean, we got 7 points plus 200 on the money line against Georgia for a Nick Saban coach team. I mean, you dream of those lines. Nick Saban, I mean, well, I mentioned this before the podcast. Kirby Smart, if he goes against, he's going to get outcoached. He just has to have better talent than you. He's going to get outcoached by the better coaches. And also, he's just the John Calipari of college football. Recruits at the highest level, but just doesn't do anything with it. Calipari got 1 title and had to have the best team, one of the best teams we've seen in college basketball. He probably had the second best team in college basketball history and lost to Wisconsin. Frank Kaminsky, Hornets legend. and Kirby Smart's the same thing. Like,
I want to say one thing too about that Bama-Cincy matchup. Like, I think depth is going to play a major role. Every CFP, it feels like key players get knocked out of the game. And I'm not too worried about like Cincy's ones playing against Bama ones per se. Like, I still think they're outmatched to an extent. But like, if any of those key players go down for Cincy, especially like, their QB, like, they're screwed. Like, obviously any QB in any CFP game, but specifically with a G5, I guarantee you Cincy's twos are not going to match up super well. So like, any key wide receivers go out, like the plug and play is very different for a G5 and P5. Like we experienced this playing, 7 P5s this year with our team, Carter. Like, it's just a very different animal. So like, that's what concerns me betting on Cincy to keep it close, is like, if anything weird happens with that, that's where I could see it getting away from him.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the game that really matters though, because we know Alabama's going to win. Michigan, Georgia. Michigan is an 8-point underdog right now. Dylan, how many stars does this play?
So for those of you that don't know, because I don't know how much of our audience is cross, I work on a star system. So 1 star is essentially 1 unit, and I go up to 5 stars, which is 5 units because you have to be responsible. Michigan plus 7.5. I got it this morning at FanDuel, like right when it came out. I think it opened at 9.5 actually, and it got bet down. Michigan plus 7.5 is a 5-star play. There is no way. I think Michigan wins this game. There's no way they lose it by less than a touchdown. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I don't think it's a game where Georgia's going to pull away. I don't think they have the offense for it. If I'm completely now on the train that Georgia's been a fraud all season, and like I was telling you guys, they really have played these teams that we thought were good at the time. And now on December 5th, 11:35 Eastern, we now know that these teams that they were beating up on, they just weren't as good as we thought. They played an 11 ranked Kentucky. I don't even know what they're ranked now. Are they ranked? Oh, who knows? So I think that Michigan has a pretty good chance here. I think that Ojabo and Hutchinson are by far the best pass rusher combo in college football. I would say Hutchinson's probably the best pass rusher in college football. The offense, people like to say that Michigan has no offense because we have a quarterback that doesn't put up 500 yards a game, but he doesn't turn the ball over. And we have a great run game. We now have 3 running backs that I think are top tier. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think if we were to have any issues, it would be quarterback play. But J.J. McCarthy kind of shows those flashes too, where he can make 40, 50-yard passes down the field, even though he's our number 2 guy. I'm all in on Michigan here. I think we do it. I don't see how it wouldn't happen.
Grant, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I have a couple. I am actually with you, man. Like being a Georgia native, I actually love Michigan here as well. Straight up, not even with like you said with the points too. Take it. That's a great play as well. But they have the dynamic and the DNA to be able to beat this Georgia team. Exactly what Bama showed you. So, like watching that Bama Georgia game, Stetson Bennett had thrown it 11 times, bro, in the fourth quarter this entire season. 11 times. So what you have to do against these teams that have these incredible defenses, right? Which we'll find out if that's true or not. You got to be able to run the ball, which Michigan can do. Like that's their go-to bread and butter, right? So if you can run the ball against them, that's a game changer. That right there, because if you can become, not just one dimensional where they just know you're going to be able to pass on them and just they're going to be able to get like pin their ears back, get to your QB, and that's where the mistakes happen, right? But if you can make Georgia that, which is what Bama did by going up on them, like just absolutely getting up on them early, it was the opposite effect. It's what Georgia's been doing to teams the entire season, getting up massive on them and making the team one-dimensional where they know what they're going to do, get them into bad situations with the QB just throwing the ball away, right? Interception after interception, and that defense just eats it up. So as long as Michigan's able to run the ball early and often, they're going to be completely fine. Like you said, Dylan, this game will definitely come down to a touchdown as long as they can run the ball, which I really feel like they can.
Yeah. Also, Michigan is the team of destiny in college football right now. Every league, there's a team of destiny. NFL, it's the Patriots. College football, it's Michigan. Baseball, it was obviously the Atlanta Braves. It was bona fide clear the Atlanta Braves. Michigan's winning this game. It feels the same thing as the Bama game almost. And also, I like Jim Harbaugh against Kirby Smart.
Plus Stetson Bennett, bro. We're talking about Stetson Bennett as your quarterback, bro. Like the fact that Georgia can't figure out the quarterback position.
It's like the bad traits
is insane to me.
Alex Smith and Teddy Bridgewater into one.
Dude. Like those edge rushers are going to eat Stetson Bennett alive. I literally have an exact quote from my buddy where I was like, Stetson Bennett will meet his fate against this Bama defense, this Nick Saban Bama defense. And literally calling me like an idiot, did all this stuff. And I literally am just like tweeting him like the pick six. I'm tweeting him like all of his like horrible throws. I'm like, bro, this guy has been able to sit back and be the quote unquote game manager the entire season. So as long as Michigan's able to get home, which I think they will, this game is going to be very competitive, but I think Michigan does have the edge with the kind of dynamic that they have the team. They can run the ball. That's the most important thing.
And another thing that kind of goes, for the most part, it goes under the radar is Michigan's offensive line and the way that they can either pave a way for our running backs to find a hole or protect our quarterback. And from what I was looking at, Alabama and Georgia's defensive lines, Alabama had the better defensive line. Georgia's was very average. I think where they strive in their defense is their secondary. And it doesn't matter when you run the ball. And that's what Michigan's plan, unless they completely befuddle me, is going to be run, try to get up early, eat the clock out, and try to win by a touchdown, try to win by 3. Jake Moody, also by far, probably the best kicker in the nation. And I'm very sad to see him go. He's probably, if we could keep Hutchinson or Jake Moody, I'm keeping Jake Moody.
Potential Heisman candidate. You're like, nah, we're good.
No. The Heisman has to go to the San Diego State punter.
True.
Have you seen his highlights, Grant?
What is it? The Roy? Is it the Roy Groza award? What is that one called? Is it the Roy Groza, right?
The punter?
Lou Gorza? Is it Lou Gorza? I can't remember. What it is.
Sooner or later, it's going to turn into the Pat McAfee trophy somehow. They're gonna his show's just going to buy out the trophy. Yeah, I mean, this weekend it was kind of wild. Most of the dogs won because it was Utah was favored. They won. Utah makes the Rose Bowl. Oregon was just the biggest frauds we've ever seen.
Bro, can we talk about this Oregon team, dude? How we've been talking on them the entire year for so long. Their quarterback is awful. They have zero offensive threat against anyone that can actually get to the passer and cover to some extent.
Dude, he looks like a Mac quarterback, like an accurate.
Their own fans call him a Make-A-Wish. They call him a Make-A-Wish QB. Like it's awful. It's literally awful, bro. And this Utah team, their best wins are 2 times against this Oregon team. It's it's so frustrating, man, to see those guys. Like, of course, like I'm happy for them. They're in the Rose Bowl. That's great. But they had to go through Oregon this year. That's it. That's the best the Pac-12 could muster. Is literally Oregon to be competition. It's embarrassing. Pac-12 this year is a joke.
It's great here too because Ohio State, they were hanging their hat on having a quality loss to this Oregon team. This was before the Michigan game. And now it's like, okay, was that really a quality loss? Because we now know that this Oregon team really, they're not that good.
They got boat raced twice. Like literally the guy, Mario Cristobal, has had multiple times to prepare for this Utah team and lost by the same margin of victory or margin of loss, I should say. Like it's so embarrassing. And they just get like they were just not physical enough. That's the problem with them.
Dylan, what was the bigger win this weekend? You guys winning the Big 12 championship or Big 10 championship, or Quinn Ewers transferring?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question.
It's CJ Stroud. Like, if you're an Ohio State fan, you're like, okay, do we want this? Everyone's saying he's the next Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, everything, and then you just have to go with CJ Stroud because he's getting the 400 yards. You can't bench him at this point.
I would say seeing Quinn Ewers go, for the record, I never have been and never will be scared of any player that plays or could possibly play for Ohio State, because that's not what Michigan men are. But I will say it is nice to see him declare to transfer, and then everybody here is freaking out because they thought that he walks on water and he was going to be the savior of this team. It's just a joy that it brings me. And maybe it's sadistic, maybe it's wrong of me, but now they're stuck with Stroud for a couple years. And honestly, I do not think Stroud is the guy. I don't know. I can't tell you now. He has fine numbers, but
there's just something he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't.
Can we talk about Ryan Day though? Like what's your take on Ryan Day, Dylan? Like honestly, as a Michigan fan, like as being as unbiased as you possibly can, like what's your thoughts on it?
That's a good question. He's only been there a couple years. I do think that he inherited a lot from the Urban Meyer years, but it's gotten now to the point, if you have the little Buckeyes on your helmet, I think it's very easy to get players, especially in state. There's a ton of pride for growing up in Ohio and then going to play football at Ohio State. And you can argue like maybe Ohio doesn't breed the best football players, but there is a pride in that. People want to go play for Ohio State. Jim Harbaugh may have hit it right on the head when he says that people think that they were born on third and hit a triple. It's just too early to tell because we haven't been through a whole recruiting cycle. He hasn't had the chance to recruit his players and see them through as seniors. And that's why I think that's where we're at with Michigan right now. Everybody that's coming through the program, these are Harbaugh era players. These are guys that Harbaugh recruited, developed, and are now playing. There is no more Brady Hoke. Brady Hoke is no longer in the Michigan program. And it'll be interesting to see in 2024, 2025, how this Ohio State team performs, because then it is Ryan Day's Ohio State football team.
Yeah. Should Michigan just throw so much money at Quinn Ewers? Should be like, hey, local Toyota dealership with a $3 million sponsor.
That would be hilarious. And I'm all about that irony. Like, I was fully sold on Urban Meyer coming to Michigan once he left Ohio State. I think it would make a great storyline. And obviously, when the cameras are off, right? I would love to have Urban Meyer at Michigan. I would have loved it at the time. So I like the storyline. From what I see, I think he's a Texas guy, and he's really looking at these Texas schools and wanting to go back home, which good for him. I don't know. I never saw the dude play. Like, honestly, people were making a big deal. I guess it was a good 5-star recruit in high school, skipped his last year.
They said like all the recruiting places had him ranked like at the same level they all had like Trevor Lawrence and Andrew Luck when they came out. That's why he's a big deal. He's like, those guys were like, there's like 5 stars and then there's like 10 stars for those guys.
There's that elusive 6-star.
Trust me, I know the trouble with bad 5 stars as a Duke fan.
I don't get into the recruiting hype because to me it's like you can be a 5-star or 4-star, but high school football and college football are I feel like they're two completely different worlds. And you can be a 5-star recruit out of high school, and then you can come into college and it just feels like it's not the same game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we need to talk about this. Brian, we had the reaction, Brian Kelly to LSU. The video of him at the basketball game at halftime with the fake Southern accent. Like, what is he doing?
Dude, as someone who literally lives in Georgia and doesn't have an accent, like I literally have not faked one all these years. You know what I mean? Like, it's just insane to me how bad it was. It was so obviously bad. But like,
he's from Massachusetts.
Yeah, and just how bad it's not even like the way he was saying family
Yeah,
and like just the
family.
stuff he like it's not even close. It's like not it's like he like went to like an acting class with all right, like rundown, give me like in a day, I need to know how to like speak in a southern accent. And like they some like obviously guy that doesn't speak in a southern accent try to teach him.
He just
That's
went
what it was
onto a
like.
Craigslist acting class.
Yeah, straight up. It was awful. And like to be honest, like really embarrassing just because like it to me that's the epitome of Brian Kelly. It's like acting like something that he's not. Like to me
Yeah.
that's it. And I was saying this when he got hired on the live like reaction. I don't think he's a good fit for that program whatsoever. I hate that hire for them. Not because I think Brian Kelly's not a good coach, but he's just a weird fit and like a weird dude. And like he does not fit with the South whatsoever. Like he just doesn't.
I'm surprised they did not wait for like a Joe Brady or even just like throw something at, or throw a Lincoln Riley offer at Urban Meyer.
If I am in the LSU crowd when he does that,
It's over.
I'm mad. Like that is
He's making
honestly,
fun of you.
yes, he is pandering, and
It's like
I don't
cultural
care.
appropriation.
Honestly, yes, cultural appropriation of the white people of the South. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And it's like if Brian Kell, I don't know, if I was in that crowd, I would say get him out of here. Like he's pandering. That's what he's doing. He's pandering. And I don't care how many championships you win us. I don't know. That just doesn't sit right with
once
me.
you start winning, you know, he could literally start speaking Spanish.
Oh, yeah. It's true, but like, bro, I'm with you, man. Like, just seeing it was super funny. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, this is probably who he is in every house to every recruit, right? Pandering,
Yeah.
like trying to like mold himself to whatever the recruit wants him to be. And I'm just like, dude, like, is anything genuine and real about you? Because the stories that came out about him, like with Robert Saleh as his like previous like assistant way back in the day, like how he treated those guys, like it's just not a good look, man. Like he does not seem like the best.
He just gives off that vibe too, like.
Dude, I don't know how kids want to play for that guy. Just to be honest, I mean, I guess you're LSU, it doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I feel like they could have gotten someone better for that kind of money.
At LSU, man, that is like one of the top 15 jobs in college football for sure.
I'd say top 5. I think it's top 3 or 3 to 4 job. What's above
it's
it?
Definitely top 3 to 4 in the SEC.
It's top 3 or 4 in the country. What's above it?
I don't know. I think USC to a lot of people seems like a top 5 job, right? Regardless of how it is, people view it that way, right?
Yeah, I think
Alabama just because of what it is. I think Alabama just because of what it is. I would say Florida's kind of like on the same bar as like LSU. I think they're kind of like the same thing to me.
Really? I would put LSU above it.
Yeah, I mean, like
would you put Ohio State above LSU or Michigan?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say Michigan's like right there with LSU and Florida. Like that's the kind of like.
Really,
I don't know if that's from.
I still think LSU is probably 2 or 3 because you get all those in-state recruits, and Louisiana just produces so many good football players. If you can win it, if you can win at LSU, it's over.
It's just that it's like Lincoln Riley. I don't know if he like loved the idea of going to the SEC.
Yeah, it's the SEC.
He's like, I'm going to the Pac-12 where I can literally dominate. The only team I want to be in the Pac-12 South is Utah. Like that's my hardest competition. When he's like, instead of playing like Florida, Auburn, Mississippi State, right? Like all these teams, like depending on the year, they can beat you really, really bad.
Yeah, of course. Let's move on to let's do the early college bowl game. Let's talk about the lines. Let's just talk about the BYU one real quick, Grant. BYU, it's a home game against UAB, the Blazers, Dylan's team, in Shreveport, Louisiana, probably the greatest city on planet Earth. BYU could not be more lucky to be in this bowl game. As we saw the AD and everybody, they could not be more thrilled to be in this bowl game. It was an excellent accomplishment making the Independence Bowl. If you couldn't read that sarcasm, then I'm sorry.
So
when did it go from when? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dylan.
Is BYU like? Are they upset that they are paired with a? Do they think UAB is below them?
Oh yes.
It's not even. It's. I mean, for sure, it's some of that, but it's also been UTSA the whole year. If we had to go to the Independence Bowl, that was the expectation. Was like if it goes to the Independence Bowl, we're playing like a undefeated or 1-loss UTSA team.
Yeah, the issue is, and it's not like the Conference USA thing. It's more just like these bowl games that they keep having to go to, the famous Idaho Potatoes Bowl, the Hawaii Bowl, the 2020 roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl.
Dylan, it would be like this. It'd be like you guys beating Ohio State straight up. You beat them, and then they're going to the CFP, and you're in the Independence Bowl. Like that's what it is for us, because like we beat Utah in a straight up match this year, and we're 5-0 in the Pac-12 schedule. It's like undefeated against the Pac-12, and beat another championship team in Utah State who won the Mountain West. And our only loss in Power 5 games was against Baylor, who literally just won the Big 12. And we're going to the Independence Bowl, and they're going to the Rose Bowl. That's where like the disconnect is. That's why fans are so pissed.
Yeah, it's like Michigan in the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, like you'd be so pissed. You'd be so pissed. So like, yeah, it's frustrating because of like the only reason Utah's going to the Rose Bowl compared to us going to New Year's Six, it's just conference affiliation, which is frustrating because like we went 5-0 against the Pac-12, would have gone to like that like right. There's zero difference between us. Literally won the going to the Independence Bowl against UAB. That's where the problem is. It's frustrating.
That makes sense. I was a little confused because you guys were talking about it before the show, so I wanted to get an idea of what the perception was for that. This is still early for me. I haven't got to look at any of like the numbers, how the teams perform on offense and defense, but UAB they have made me a lot of money this year. There was one game I think against UTSA they covered, and I love UAB in that spot. At first glance, what'd you say? 8.5, 9.5?
It is 8.5.
8.5 now, yeah.
I mean, like if you're going to give me 8.5 points with UAB, I'm probably going to take it. And that's not me being a hater. I know we got some Cougars here, but UAB, they just offensively, they can score quick. Now defensively, yikes, not great. But I would have to look at the numbers first. But at first glance, I'm liking UAB in this spot.
I like the over 55.
Oh, I love that. I would bet that all day because this defense, like you'll see, it's not even the same. Like we have 3, I think, starters of the 11 that started the season that are healthy. That's it. 3 of the 11. And like our depth is nowhere near what it needs to be after like we lost every key player you can possibly imagine. We lost all 3 linebackers, multiple cornerbacks, multiple defense. Like it's literally a shell of what it once was. So I would love the over. I would not take the minus 8.5, even as a BYU fan.
Yeah, and I think BYU is not going to be ready for this game. I think they're just going to be whatever. We should be at a better spot kind of deal. And UAB is like, all right, let's go beat a BYU team on national television.
I mean, it's a top 13 team. Like you're playing a top 15
they're 13.
Team, like, and they get to play that game when we're like, you know what I'm saying? So I love that. I love the over. That's probably that's a good line. I didn't know it was that low.
Yeah, it's 55. I love that. All right, anybody have favorite bowl games they like?
Let me check real quick. I feel like there's one that Utah, Ohio State, Rose Bowl over. I can't remember what it was at, 65.5 maybe. And this was first glance for me because obviously at this point, which may be a good discussion topic, you can bet games early and try to beat the line movement. But with bowl games, it's almost more beneficial to wait until closer to game time and see who's not going to be playing. Since so many players are like, oh, I'm injured. I just don't want to play. I'm declaring for the draft. But from what I've seen, and like I said, I probably should, but I haven't paid much attention to West Coast football. Utah put up points against Oregon the last couple of games they played them. I think they blew out Stanford too. I think that was maybe a game that I watched. And Ohio State, if they have anything going for them, it's that offense. Of course, it's dependent on what players are playing for Ohio State. I know that receiving core is amazing. I don't know who's going to be sitting out, who's going to be playing. But let me get the official number real quick. It's over 65. I locked that one in today. That was just one
already
star.
At 67.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes me feel better then. That makes me feel good. But
to be honest, that's a good line.
I like all these overs. My next one, I think this might be my favorite play. Central Michigan, Boise State over 52.5. It is the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. Barstool Sports equals overs. There's no way this does not go over. There's no way.
Their whole thing is life's too short to bet the under, right? So
Exactly. There's no way this goes under. And if you bet the under, you're dead to me. You are dead to me.
I'll keep that in mind. I'm a big under guy. I might there might be some unders.
Oh, big business insider guy then?
Oh shoot! Now you're putting me on the spot. No, I'm not. Definitely not.
Nah,
What about Army and Navy? That over-under set at 35.5. That's a service academy under.
I don't think that over has hit in like 8 years, right?
It's been a while.
I gotta look this up. Hold up. But yeah, no, I actually like the over in that because Army can put up points.
We're going to have to bet it too because it's the only college game, the only FBS college game next weekend.
Army's points in the last
Of course
month,
it is.
31, 33, 63, 21.
Jeez.
They put up 56 on Wake Forest.
Who was this? Which one was this?
Army. I haven't looked at Navy. I know Navy wasn't that great.
Yeah, Navy's not good. And to go back to Stanford, Dylan, like they're legit like the blind school this year. So Utah like pounding them means nothing, bro. Like, they're so bad this year.
That's true. I guess I was hanging my hat on didn't they beat Oregon? They beat Oregon this year.
They beat Oregon, but it was like, I'm telling you, man, that means
Yeah.
like that win
Yeah.
that win means nothing.
That's another example of a game that like we thought, I don't know, at that point we thought Oregon was this good team. It was a big deal that Stanford beat Oregon, and now we know it doesn't really matter. Like they weren't as good as we thought they were.
I do think Utah puts up like 30-some points though against Ohio State. Like their offense is clicking right now. Like they have amazing quarterback play as of right now, and they can run. So they can do the exact. They're kind of built the same way as Michigan. Obviously not as good on defense with their pass rush, but they have a very, very stingy pass rush. So I definitely see them getting points like in the 30s with the way they run the ball and they use their tight ends, just like Michigan does. So like I think that's probably a good play, like because I think Ohio State's going to be able to keep pace with them, right? So I could see that over hitting for sure. That 65 when you got it, I think that's a solid play.
And then Ohio State's defense is so bad too. You have to keep that in mind. So bad.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it right now. Whenever the service academies play, over 80% of the time the game goes under.
That's why it's a 35, man. It's just such a bait play. That's such a bait line to me. What's the normal line? What is Army minus what?
I think 8, right?
I'm seeing 7.5.
Oof.
I would just take the over and just
pray for points.
Pray
that
for like
someone
two scooping scores.
One defensive score that's in jeopardy. That under's in jeopardy with one defensive score.
Pray that the triple option is fooling the other team better, right? Like, my gosh, bro. We're literally betting on 2 triple option teams. That's how it's rough.
It's like watching those old like 1941 football highlights. They just have better equipment. Is there any other games we like? I was trying to find one I really liked.
Pitt -4 against Michigan State. If Pickett plays, oh my gosh, he will tear apart that pass defense. It's going to be so ugly.
Oh yeah, because I needed Wake to win yesterday. That was unfortunate.
That went south quick too.
No. Well, Wake was up 21-14 with the ball in the second quarter. I was like, all right, score a touchdown here. We're in business. Sam Hartman pick. I was like, this game. I'm just this game.
Carter, what's the line on the Utah State Oregon State game?
That was one I was peeking at too. It is Oregon State minus 7.5.
Oh man, if it was like 3 or 4, I'd say hammer or like Oregon State. But
really, I kind of like Utah State in that spot.
What's the over under that?
64.5. That's a stay away.
They're probably at the over though.
Because that's a game. Well, you look at this. That's a game where there's like 5 games that day. So you really don't have to like deal with that one.
You don't have to take that one as in. You don't have to stoop to the level of Utah State, Oregon State. That's like my money team though, man. Just betting against Utah State. Not this year, but anytime they play BSU and BYU. That's like pretty much.
I like UTSA minus 2.5 over San Diego State. I think this game means more to UTSA. That's all I'm putting it at.
I like that too.
And where's this at? What bowl game is this? Dude, these bowl games are so random. Do you know Jimmy Kimmel has a bowl game?
What?
Does he really?
There's the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl this year.
Is it the Jimmy Kimmel or just some other Jimmy Kimmel that owns like an auto, like like a dealership or something?
It's like a dealership.
Yeah,
it's like a different
dealership.
Carl Malone that owns a dealership in Provo.
Dude, it used to be like a walk-ons bowl. Remember that one? I think that's now the Independence Bowl.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So many random
This year,
bowls.
that Utah State, Oregon State's the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
Speaking of these bowl games, let me just ask this, Dylan. Do you think that expanding the playoffs, like, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing for college football? Let's start with that, I guess.
Good. I think it's very good.
Okay.
I don't know if I think 12 or 8's better. I think that every Power 5 conference champion should have a chance to play for the title. And I don't care, like, if Oregon would have beat Utah, we know Oregon's not that good. If they win their conference, give them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think from there, you can do 3 at-large bids, and that gives the power or the group of 5 an opportunity to get in there. So, like, this year, it would have given a team like Notre Dame an option to get in there. Cincinnati obviously got in there already, but say they lost the game to Tulsa that was really close, and they still go on and win their conference and they have 1 loss. It gives them a chance to play in it. As far as 8 or 12, though, I don't know. I go back and forth.
I like 12 just because more football.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
I mean,
do
who hates more football? And also, the campus games would be electric.
Oh,
That's
yes.
Just think about
the whole argument too against it is like that it's going to lessen the game, because everyone's like thing is like, imagine Michigan versus Ohio State this year. Would the game have been as? I'm like, yes, it would have been. Like, that game still would have been watched by everyone. That game still would have been as big as it was, even if both those teams knew they're going to make the playoff. I promise you, because they're like, it'll dilute the regular season. I'm like, bro, like the fact that teams can't play for anything outside of like 4 teams is just insane to me. It's crazy.
I think it's respectable. So right now, it's very interesting how pro football and college football differs, because pro football, you can lose 5 games and you can still win a Super Bowl. In college football, you have to have a near perfect season to be able to play for anything that's worth a holler. Like, I guess maybe the Rose Bowl's a little bit different. Some of those New Year's Sixes are different, but some of these bowls, like, I know I mentioned Michigan State and Pitt playing in whatever bowl they're playing in. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. We have all these bowls that if you don't make the top 4, you're not really playing for much. So I don't think it hurts to expand it. And then, sure, I guess you could say it would dilute the regular season. The Ohio State-Michigan example is absolutely crazy, because we could be the 2 worst teams in the nation and people are still going to get up for that game because we just hate each other. But no, I don't think it dilutes the regular season. If anything, I just think it gives teams the ability to have a bad game and still get to play for a championship.
Yep,
All right.
I agree completely.
Real quick, let's all do our national championship picks, and then we'll breeze through the NFL real quick. Dylan, I believe you're going Bama, right?
I'm actually like Cincy in this spot. No, I'm just kidding. Michigan all the way. Michigan's going to win this thing. It was this was interesting because FanDuel had it this morning. Michigan to win the college football playoff at plus 750. Barstool had it at plus 450. So I don't know if that was a mispricing on FanDuel's part.
I think it was a mispricing on Barstool's part, because I just saw it at 600.
Huh. See, and that's the beauty about this time of year that, we're a month out. You can catch these mispricings and you can get good value on bets that you like, and you can stay if you shop books, which that's my plug for smart sports gambling. But I really do think Michigan can do this. If Michigan's biggest challenge, in my opinion, is Georgia. And if they can beat Georgia, they can most definitely wipe the floor with Cincinnati if they happen to beat Alabama. And I don't think we're going to have a problem with Alabama if we see them in the championship either. So Michigan plus 750, that's an actual pick. I've taken that. That's not conjecture. So that's what I'm rolling.
I have seen it from my own eyes. You have taken it. Grant, what's your pick?
See, I want to roll with that, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to roll with Bama. The reason why they have the easiest into the national championship with Cincy. So, like, if they can get by Cincy, they're already in, right? So I'm basically betting on like a matchup head-to-head, Bama versus either Michigan or Georgia. And I'll take Bama just from the experience of how many times they've been there, how many times they've done it. So I'm kind of rolling on experience, even though they have a freshman quarterback. I'm taking Bama.
Dylan, I've been riding Michigan all year long with you. Mm-hmm. It's Michigan. Michigan's winning this title. They're the team of destiny.
That's a good pick.
They're going to pound, like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me to think after that Michigan State game, you'd be like, Michigan has a real shot to win this title, like a real shot. You'd be like, shut up. No, they don't. They're going to get blown out by Ohio State. I actually like, I'm not even like, I'm going to ride with you no matter what. I will take Michigan, but I genuinely think Michigan wins the title. Who like just watching them pound these teams on the run is incredible. So
and then we're always good for a couple flea flickers a game for about 30 or 40 yards. And
that just gets the momentum going.
We do it every game. I don't know how we get away with it every game. They have to know it's coming. And I think we even did it twice against Iowa. I think we did it twice yesterday.
Where's the Georgia Michigan game? It's
in Florida, Miami, maybe Orange Bowl. So it's going to be closer to home for Georgia. But if we can get to the championship, it's in Indianapolis. Ooh. Cincinnati might have the location advantage, but if so, it's not going to be by much.
It's not going to have the fan advantage though. There's going to be more Michigan fans than Cincinnati fans if it's in Indianapolis.
I will pay top dollar to get into that stadium. I already have a hotel booked. If I will pay upwards of 4 digits to get into that game. I mean, to be able to celebrate with 70,000 of my closest friends once Michigan wins this national championship. So we'll see. But Michigan all the way for me.
Michigan, go blue. Yeah, if Duke makes the Final Four this year, I'm not missing Coach K's last Final Four. No chance. All right, real quick, let's talk about the NFL. What's the biggest storyline today? Chiefs are the Chiefs the favorite?
I thought briefly about taking a future on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl because they got off to a slow start.
I mean, it helps that the Bucks or the Bills and Pats aren't playing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. The NFL has thrown me for so much of a loop. I don't know who's good and who's bad. I think the Green Bay Packers are good. I think I can say that they are probably the top team in the NFL.
Are they?
If I had to pick, that's the team I'm going with. But I don't know. There's not that one standout team. In years past, it's been the Chiefs, it's been the Bucks, and now we're kind of in a situation where in each conference we have 4 or 5 teams that really could be in the mix, and there is no standout. The Titans were the standout until we got the injury bug, and we are now playing with the B team from the Tennessee Volunteers. We just shipped their JV team over to Nashville, and now we're playing with them. So,
yeah, I don't like any. This feels like a year that it's just going to be a Joe Flacco year, where a team with a solid defense and a quarterback that just gets hot for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who that team is.
How are we not? No one's on the Bucks in here, huh? I don't know how you can go against the Bucks until, like you said, there's so much mediocrity, as in
but anyone they've been mediocre.
I know, but the thing is, they were exactly like this last year, and I took it for granted. And I was like, bro, they've been so mediocre during the season, and then playoff Tom is just like a psycho, and he just gets it done, dude. So I would lean personally Bucks with the experience. Same thing with Tom Brady. You have Tom Brady in your team. He's the greatest playoff player of all time. So until someone's a clear shot number one, like you said, Dylan, I do like the idea that Green Bay could be right there because Aaron Rodgers is just elite. But I honestly think you got to go favorite is Bucks right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's Bucks, Packers, Chiefs. Everyone still thought, but it doesn't feel that real.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could put the Pats and Bills in there. I don't know. NFL sucks this year.
No, the Pats are not winning a Super Bowl this year. There's no way. They're playing.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. But I'm saying Vegas odds. They've got to be top 5 or 6, right?
They've got to be up there. But with the rookie QB, bro, there's no way.
I guarantee you. That's why I want to see the Bills go up 14-0 tomorrow, and there's no way the Pats come back. There's no way. It just can't happen.
But the Bills have thrown me for a loop because on paper they're a great team.
If anybody's watching this video, we are just agonizing just talking about the NFL and how we just don't like anybody.
No one wants to win games. Yeah. No one wants to win games. And you have these close games. I can't tell you how many double-digit spreads I've seen lose outright. That Bills Jaguars game haunts me to this day.
Yeah,
to this day.
Seahawks beat the Niners. You thought the Niners were finally getting their stride, and the Seahawks are dead. Seahawks win by 7. Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger essentially announces a secret retirement this week. They win by 1 against the so-called best team in the AFC, Ravens or whatever. The Rams looked okay, I guess, against the Jags. They didn't look that good. I mean, the score felt like it lied by 20 points. The Cardinals, I guess they're good, but they can't seem to stay healthy. The Colts I feel like the Colts and Texans have played 10 times this year. Like, I feel like they played 10 times. Like Jonathan Taylor with another 170-yard rushing game against the Texans. I was like, I thought they played like 4 weeks ago and 2 weeks ago.
It doesn't help that every single team in the AFC South has some sort of shade of blue in their logo. So you see that they play each other and you're like, oh, this could be the Texans. Maybe it's the Titans. Wait, maybe it's the navy blue for the Colts. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Grant, it finally happened. One domino fell in Carolina today. Joe Brady is gone. Gone.
You got your wish, man. Like,
I got my wish. Christmas came early this year for Little Caesar over here. Matt Rule, you're next, buddy. It's how can you believe in this guy?
What college job does Joe Brady and Matt Rule take now?
I think Duke.
I guess that's the better question.
No, he's not going to Duke. I don't know, like, what's available right now. I feel like all of these like middle of the pack jobs are available, but like nobody even realizes they're open. Not like Duke.
Yeah.
Duke's low, but does he go to like a Louisiana? Like, does he take over for Billy Napier?
I mean,
like
maybe
that goes back to Louisiana.
It's not a bad spot. That's not a bad spot to be in.
I
like most of the West Coast jobs they're already taken. Like Washington's taken, Washington State was taken, USC's taken. Oregon is now open. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was just announced today. So yeah, I guess Oregon's your biggest play, the biggest job out there right now. That's not filled.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he stinks. He stinks. Like, he got put in bad shoes because I don't know whoever signed Teddy Bridgewater and all that. We've been over this a zillion times. They just deserve to be fired themselves. The fact that they went with Sam Darnold over Justin Fields or Mac Jones, they need to be fired. I mean, it says a lot when the Jets were like, when they were basically dancing, giving up Sam Darnold.
Their fan base wasn't, though. Their fan base was like,
fan base is like, ugh. Zach Wilson's stock on the rise today. Zach Wilson's good. Accept it, Jets fans. You guys have a good quarterback. The Jets are like, Joe Namath is back.
They have like that Stockholm syndrome where like they're just so used to being abused that they want to go back to the abuser of just like accepting the reality that they have an awful like situation top to bottom, which they do. But like, you got to give the kid time. Like, here's the thing: he's going to be a good quarterback. We just don't know how good he's going to be. You got to give him time. It's as simple as that. Like, and
he's
they're just
the next Aaron Rodgers. There's no debate.
I didn't say that. I never said this, but he's going to be good. He's going to be a good quarterback.
He's going to be the best in the NFL. Possibly Steve Young mixed with Tom Brady. No, I'm just playing. But I think he's a great quarterback. It's so funny that Jets and Mets fans just live the same exact existence.
Oh, dude.
I don't even like baseball. I claim I'm a Mets fan just because I went to one game. They live the exact same life.
New York Jets fans are just like BYU fans with alcohol. That's literally what they are. They're the worst, but they just have alcohol. So they're more explicit and they're more ridiculous with their takes and they're more spicy during games. Like, that's just the difference. It's
don't get
awful.
These BYU fans hooked on these monsters though. Like, dude, things might get a little wild out here. Yeah. Anything else in the NFL is kind of Dylan, talk about the Lions walk-off win. You saw it in person.
Oh yes. So
should the Detroit Lions give you season tickets?
I don't think it's me. Honestly, I think it's Jagan. I think Jagan was the bad luck. My little brother, he was there for his birthday. And it was just, I felt bad for the kid because like I was telling you guys earlier, when the Lions were playing the Steelers, I was kind of like, see, he's looking at me right now in the corner. He's saying, why are you talking about this? He's still in his Viking gear too. But like the Lions were playing the Steelers and I was like, I kind of hope that the Lions lose this. So if they get their first win, it's while we're there against the Vikings for Jagan's birthday. Cause that's just the kind of brother I am. And lo and behold, here we are. The place erupted. I mean, all 5,000 of the fans that were in the stands just went crazy. the whole city of Detroit shook, and it was
When's is the parade Monday?
I think so. They canceled work for everybody. If you live in the city, you don't have to go to work. So it was fun. I mean, Ford Field it's the first indoor football stadium I've ever been to. I went to the MAC championship Saturday too, and it was it was amazing. I was surprised with how nice it was. The fact that it can be 30 degrees outside and you can go watch a live football game and have it be 75 is just it's amazing. It's a shame that it went to go to waste with the Lions.
Yeah, that's how Allegiant Stadium was. It's hot as crap outside. You walk in, you're like, whoa, what is this place?
Oh, see, I'm trying so hard to get into Allegiant Stadium. I think that place just looks so cool. So cool.
Yeah. During like the off months, we need to do a podcast just ranking stadiums.
Oh, yeah. I'm all for
it. That'd be dope.
SoFi is another one. I would love to make our way to SoFi.
That just doesn't look real. You sure you don't want to make your way to Bank of America in Charlotte?
Someone pays me, I'm sure I'll make my way over there.
Bro, Carter, here's the thing, man. Your fans at that stadium when I was at the Jets-Panthers game, man, all of them were telling me Sam Darnold's better, man. That's all I heard there. I was sitting down in that stadium, man. Multiple guys passed by. They're like, oh, okay, you're rooting for the Jets, Zach Wilson. They're like, yeah, Sam Darnold's better. Walking off. I would love to see him now.
Off.
And just get that sweet take again.
That's the one thing that sucks about Panthers fans. There's no fan base that's more Facebook than Carolina Panthers fans. They are the epitome of Facebook. And they just go on there. If Cam would focus on football as much as he focuses on what he wears, then maybe we win a damn game. Like, that's all it is. There's so many of those Panthers fans. And oh my gosh.
As the mom's wearing the hashtag keep pounding shirt, she's typing that up.
They're still wearing their Luke Kuechly, or they're wearing their ketchup stained Jake Delhomme jerseys. They're still talking about the glory days.
I do have an issue with that stadium, man. Their soda's awful, bro.
The soda's
they have like
terrible.
This unlimited soda thing. It's literally
flatter
terrible.
Than I don't even know. Whatever I was gonna say, I probably shouldn't say. It's flat as crap. It's awful.
This is at the Panthers games?
Panthers, dude.
Yeah, Panthers games, man. They don't have it down.
Because they have Coke, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they made that transition. Pepsi, born in the Carolinas, they moved to Coke. All hell breaks loose. Cam's career's over. Christian McCaffrey can't stay healthy. We signed Sam Darnold. We signed two gloves. We have Marty Herney running the show when we give up all of our best assets in the front office and coaching to Buffalo and Sean McDermott and Billy Bean. I mean, the Panthers just need to explode.
Coke is based out of Atlanta. That's an inside job. That's a smear job by the Falcons.
100%. It was 100% our intention. Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, that's what Charlotte sports is. It's just mediocrity year by year. Being a Hornets fan, we're just in love with the 9th seed and the 11th pick in the draft. The Panthers, we draft so well in the first round. We get the 7th, 8th pick. They're like Luke Kuechly, Christian McCaffrey, Brian Burns, all these people. It just never leads to anything, I guess, because that 2016 Super Bowl is rigged. Might not sleep tonight.
Hey, can I bring something up real quick that I wanted to talk about?
What's up?
College football. Kenny Pickett, fake slide.
Oh, yeah.
All the blue checks on Twitter are getting mad because they say that causes the defenders to stop because they don't want unnecessary roughness or targeting, and the quarterbacks shouldn't be able to hezzy slide because it pretty much guarantees the defenders have no choice but to not pursue a tackle. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, because we're going to see Kyler Murray do it in about 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here's the thing. Kyler Murray could pull it off. I would love to see Kenny Pickett pull it off and get decapitated in the NFL like Ed Truck did on The Office. Like, that's straight up what's going to happen, bro. He's going to shoot for that, and it's just not going to work out. So, like, I'm all for it. I think he should try and do it in the NFL and just see what happens. And I think one time, I think you're not going to see it anymore.
And he did it on the Wake Forest defense. Literally,
that's what I'm saying.
The 300th ranked defense in football.
Like, it was just like a –
I mean, there's not even 300 teams. Like, there's Division I AA teams that are way better than Wake's defense.
Yeah, they're just beating up the kid that literally can't, like, climb the jungle, like the bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're pushing that kid off the bars. Like, they try that in the NFL and they just see how it goes. That's my take on it. I'm like, I don't care. You can try that wherever you want, but
there's going to be a nasty Kyler Murray highlight doing it. I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it. They're. It's not like how in basketball, whenever like James Harden is doing the like that is just totally against the rules. They're playing the rules pretty well. What do you think, Dylan? Like, do you think that should be okay? Like, how do you stop that?
Well, let me play devil's advocate here without revealing my position, because the way I see it, at first, I was very much in the camp of that was pretty sweet. This guy deserves the Heisman just for coming up with that move. But then I think about it from the defender's viewpoint, where if someone is hezzy sliding, and if I say he does actually slide, and I think he's hezzy sliding, and I go in for a tackle, and I get ejected for targeting, and I give up 15 yards, where when you do the hezzy slide, you're almost flirting with the line of I don't. Do you guys get what I'm saying? I feel like I'm getting boggled in my mind, but you can't pursue a tackle if you think the guy's going to slide, because as a defender, you're done for the game. You're done for maybe the first half of the next game. Yeah. When you start flirting with the hezzy slide, you can use it to your advantage, but it is always at the disadvantage of the defense.
Yeah, I will say this on Kenny Pickett. I wouldn't hate him in Carolina.
Ooh.
He looked good at Bank of America. What bothers me, what scares, I think part of my take brought this up with him. He wears 2 gloves.
Oh.
He wears 2 gloves.
What if he's the 2 gloves to bring back, a championship, I should say. Dude. Here's the thing. Here's my take on it. It's like the pick play that Clemson won their national title on, where they you did the pick play against Bama and they won the national title. I don't know what year it was, like 2017, 16, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like that to me. So I feel like they're going to, like you said, err on the side of outlawing it, because I'm with you. Like, the defense has already so many things, like a defenseless receiver. They have to figure that out mid tackle. If someone's lowering their target zone, like their helmet, they can't launch into them. They can't even hit the helmet, even if they weren't the ones that initiated the different strike zone, you could say. I'm with you there. I think it's pretty unfortunate, because everything's leading to the offense to take advantage of the defense. So if this stays, if anyone just absolutely hammers a QB, they're just going to be the cheap shot of the day. They're going to get ejected, 15 yards, all that stuff. And I definitely see where you're coming from there. But like I said, I would like Kenny Pickett to try and do it in the NFL and see how that works out for him.
For the record, I thought it was super cool. And when I tried to defend him to my friends, I said that maybe he just likes the look of the rubber beads from the turf kicking up, and he needed to stretch his shin out. That's who said it was a hezzy slide,
Because
exactly,
as a person who was begging on their knees, begging for Wake Forest to win that game, when he scores that within a minute and 30 seconds, you just knew it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Wake Forest is just not a big game team. Big game team. Yeah, they're not a big game team.
You're saying Wake Forest isn't?
No.
What? That's crazy.
When even in basketball, every sport, they've had Chris Paul and Tim Duncan. They didn't even make the Final Four.
I'm going to also say probably worst logo in college football.
Really? Whoa.
That WF. The WF? That's what I'm going by.
I don't hate that. I don't hate it.
Makes me think of something my 80-year-old grandpa would wear.
You need to go to a Wake. Dylan, I will take you if you're ever in North Carolina. I will personally take you to a Wake Forest game. You will get so riled up seeing that Demon Deacon ride in on the motorcycle and seeing all the old people in their sweater vests just clapping. It's a great time. It's a great time. I love Wake Forest. I cannot hate on Wake Forest.
I'm a frequent flyer to Carowinds, so we can make that work.
Yes, dude. All right, that's enough for this week. We'll be back Thursday with college basketball NBA recap show, and then back next Sunday. We'll talk mostly NFL. In a couple weeks, we will do bowl game predictions. We'll go through every bowl game quickly for most of them, like the NIU Coastal Carolina game. We're not going to spend more than a minute on. So, all right, awesome. Thanks for coming on, Dylan. Make sure to follow him, Wilkerson A. Dillon. Check out the First Team Second String podcast. Anything else you want to plug?
Twitter, Instagram is the same, Wilkerson A. Dillon. I'm not on TikTok, or at least I don't put out any videos, so nothing there. Thanks for having me on, Carter. It's been a blast. Go Blue.
Go Blue. All right, see y'all.